Have you ever wondered why some women choose to live alone? No boyfriend, no partner, no rush to find someone. Are they really lonely, as so many assume? Or are they holding on to a secret that most of us haven't dared to touch? Today, I want to invite you to step into a journey to explore strength, freedom, and true love, starting with yourself. This isn't a story of lack, it's a story of awakening. Picture a woman sitting in her own quiet space. She's not waiting for someone to save her. She doesn't need anyone to feel whole. This might make you curious, or maybe a little uneasy. Why? Because she's challenging everything we've been taught about love, about happiness, about being a woman. Drawing on the profound wisdom of Jung, we'll uncover why women who live alone embody courage, clarity, and a kind of freedom that all of us secretly crave. Stay with me, because this story isn't just for women, it's for anyone who's ever wondered if there's another way to love, to live, to be yourself. Are you ready? Let's dive in and discover what makes these women strong, not because they reject love, but because they've learned to love themselves. First, part 1, breaking stereotypes, not lonely but free. Have you ever heard someone say, a woman living alone must be lonely, that she's probably waiting for someone to walk into her life to make her feel whole? That's the story our society often tells, but today, I want you to pause and look deeper. Women who choose to live alone, without a boyfriend, without a partner, aren't lost. They're not sitting there with a broken heart, waiting for someone to save them. They're living in a kind of freedom most of us only dream of. Picture a woman waking up each day in her own space. She makes coffee, opens a book, or steps outside, breathing in fresh air. She's not rushing to check her phone for a text from someone to feel enough. She is enough. And this, my friend, isn't loneliness. It's discernment. It's strength. It's a quiet declaration that she'd rather be alone than with someone who makes her soul feel smaller. We often think a woman without someone by her side must be missing something, but the truth is the complete opposite. These women aren't running from love. They're refusing versions of love that don't honor their worth. They're tired of relationships where they have to burn brightly just to warm others who never value their flame. And so, they choose to walk their own path where they can be themselves without needing permission. Jung, a brilliant psychologist, once said, "What we deny in ourselves becomes our shadow." Women who live alone are the embodiment of that collective shadow. They're a picture of the courage many of us secretly wish for. They don't need a relationship to feel worthy. They don't need someone to tell them they're enough. They know it deep in their soul, and that certainty makes them both admirable and unsettling to others. Have you ever wondered why this bothers us? Maybe because it challenges everything we've been taught about happiness, about love, about being a woman. Society tells us a woman's value is often measured by the man beside her, but these women, they're rewriting the story. They're saying happiness doesn't have to come from someone else. It can start right within you. Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. We'll explore why choosing to live alone isn't giving up. It's a journey to true freedom. These women aren't hiding. They're finding the fullest version of themselves. Part 2, the power of silence. So we've seen women who live alone aren't lonely. They're choosing freedom. But have you ever wondered what really happens in their quiet spaces when there's no noise from the world, no urgent texts, no one demanding their attention? It's not emptiness, my friend. It's power. Our power forged in silence. Picture a woman sitting by her window, with soft sunlight streaming in. She's not scrolling her phone, not chasing likes on social media. She's listening, not to others' voices, but to the voice deep within herself. This silence isn't ta voix, it's a sacred space where she faces the hidden corners most of us run from, old wounds, buried fears, questions we rarely dare ask. What do I truly want? What do I deserve? In that silence, she doesn't shout to be noticed. She whispers about her choices. She doesn't build walls to push the world away. She creates a fortress to protect her soul from relationships that only take and give nothing back. And this is remarkable, because while we often seek validation from others, she finds it within herself. Carl Jung once said, "What we don't face within ourselves becomes a burden we place on others." These women choose to face it in their stillness. They look at their shadow, the parts society tells them to hide, vulnerability, doubt, the pain from loving the wrong person, trusting the wrong promises. But instead of running, they stay. They dig deep to understand. And in that process, they find a strength no one can take away. Does this feel inspiring to you? Or maybe a little unsettling? Because deep down, we know silence takes courage. It's not as easy as posting a happy photo or going on a date just to fill time. Silence is where truth emerges. And these women don't fear the truth. They embrace it to become the fullest version of themselves. Think about the last time you truly sat still with your thoughts. No phone, no Netflix, just you and your soul. It's hard, isn't it? But that's exactly where these women find their light. They don't need the crowd's applause. They don't need someone to say they're enough. Their silence has taught them they've always been enough. Stay with me, because we'll explore how these women use silence to break free from society's chains and find a love that doesn't diminish them. This isn't a story of isolation. It's a story of awakening. Part 3, challenging society and the logic of control. So we've seen silence isn't emptiness, it's power, where women who live alone find themselves. But have you ever wondered why their choice makes so many around us feel uneasy? It's not because they're lonely, it's because they're challenging something bigger. The unwritten rules of society, rules that say a woman's true value comes only when she's with someone. Picture a woman walking confidently on her own path. She doesn't need a man to feel enough. She's not rushing to find love, just to fill a void. And this, my friend, turns upside down every logic of control. We've been taught, society tells us, happiness must come from a relationship. A woman without someone by her side must be lacking. But these women, they're saying, no thanks. They reject the story that they need to be saved. Have you ever heard someone say, she's too picky, or she needs to be more open? Those words aren't random. They're reactions to a woman who doesn't play by the rules. They call her cold, arrogant, inapproachable. But what's the truth? She's not picky for perfection. She's demanding the bare minimum, a love that doesn't shrink her, a love that respects the wholeness she's spent years building. Carl Jung once said, where convention rules, authenticity has no place. These women don't live by convention, they live by their own truth, and that makes them a quiet revolution. They're a threat to those who rely on emotional dependence for control. They make others both admire and fear them. Admire because they dare to be themselves. Fear because they don't need anyone to feel worthy. Think about this for just a moment. When a woman doesn't need someone to feel enough, she shatters the myth that women are reborn to depend. She questions the stories we still tell about love, about happiness, and this isn't comfortable for those still living by the old script. But that's her power. She's not just living for herself. She's a mirror, reflecting the truth that we can be happy without leaning on anyone. Have you ever felt pressure to be with someone just to prove you're okay? These women have moved beyond that pressure. They've chosen a path few dare to take, and in doing so, they inspire us all to ask, what really defines my happiness? Stay with me, because we'll explore how these women face their inner darkness to become whole. This isn't a story of rebellion. It's a story of true freedom. Part 4, the journey of facing the shadow. So we've seen women who live alone are challenging society's old rules. But have you ever wondered what led them to that courage? They weren't born fearless. They've been hurt. The truth is, they've walked through a journey few dare to take, the journey of facing the shadow within themselves. Picture a woman sitting in a quiet room, lit only by the soft glow of a candle. She doesn't shy away from painful memories, the times she loved and lost herself, the long nights, wondering why she wasn't enough. This isn't an easy moment. This is when she looks straight into the dark corners most of us turn away from. Old wounds from childhood, broken promises from relationships she thought were love, but were just disguises for dependence. Carl Jung once said, "The shadow is everything we deny in ourselves." For these women, the shadow isn't just personal pain, it's the stories society imposes on them, that they must be gentle, must sacrifice, must need someone to feel whole. But they chose not to run. They dig deep into their fears, their failures, the times they begged for things they shouldn't have had to beg for. And in that darkness, they find not weakness, but healing. Have you ever faced a truth that made you tremble? Maybe the moment you realized a relationship only made you smaller. These women have been there. They've loved until they forgot who they were. They've given too much, only to receive shattered pieces in return. But then, one day, they woke up, not through a grand moment, but through tears, disappointments. That slowly became lessons. They learned love isn't imprisonment, and living alone isn't failure. It's liberation from toxic cycles. This journey is far from easy. It's like walking down a fogpot, where every step is a question. What do I truly deserve? But in that darkness, they find light. They no longer believe in a love that makes them invisible. They believe in themselves. And that, my friend, is where their strength is forged, not from arrogance, but from scars that have healed. Think about the last time you faced a pain. Instead of avoiding it, it's hard, isn't it? But these women have done it. They didn't just survive, they were reborn, stronger, more whole. They're proof we can break the cycle of dependence and find ourselves. Stay with me, because we'll explore how they turn love into fullness instead of a void. This isn't a story of giving up. It's a story of rebirth. Part 5, True Love, Freedom and Wholeness. So we've seen women who live alone have faced their darkness to find light within themselves. But have you ever wondered if they've given up on love? The answer is no. They still crave love, but not the kind that cages their soul. They want a love that liberates, that overflows, that makes them whole. A love not to fill a void, but to shine together. Picture a woman standing under a sunset, a gentle breeze brushing through her hair. She's not waiting for a prince to save her. She's already saved herself through years of learning to love herself. Love, to her, is no longer dependency. It's a partnership between two souls who found themselves. She doesn't want someone to complete her. She wants a companion to walk alongside without dimming each other's light. Have you ever felt tired of relationships that demand you shrink yourself? These women have been there. They've loved until they forgot who they were. They once believed love meant sacrifice, meant enduring, but they learned true love never makes you smaller. It lifts you up, supports you without suffocating. And so, they'd rather wait than settle for emotional scraps called love. Carl Jung once said, wholeness comes from harmonizing opposites. These women don't reject love. They reject relationships where one must fade for the other to shine. They crave a love where they can be themselves, all their light and all their darkness, all their laughter and all their tears. A love that doesn't demand. They edit themselves to fit a mold because they know someone who only loves the surface doesn't understand what real love is. Think about the last time you dreamed of love. Did you want someone who sees you, truly sees you? Not just the bright parts, but the rough edges too. These women want that too, but they're not in a rush. They don't need a relationship to prove their worth. They've found their worth within themselves. And so, when they love with freedom. Their love isn't salvation. It's a celebration of two souls, already whole. This is inspiring, isn't it? But it might also make you wonder, can I love like that? The answer is yes. These women aren't different from you. They just chose to love themselves first. So when love comes, it doesn't break them. It makes them shine brighter. Stay with me, because we'll explore how they inspire a quiet revolution of emotional freedom. This isn't a story of abandoning love. It's a story of finding true love, starting with you. Part 6, The Quiet Revolution. So we've seen women who live alone not only find true love, but redefine it with freedom and wholeness. But have you ever wondered what happens when they step into the world with that strength? They don't just live for themselves. They're a flame, igniting others. They're a quiet revolution, changing how we think about love, about happiness, about ourselves. Picture a woman walking down a crowded street. She doesn't need the crowd's attention, but something about her makes you turn your head. It's not her appearance, it's her energy. A confidence that doesn't boast, a presence that shifts the air around her. She doesn't lead or follow anyone. She carves her own path, and with every step, she inspires those searching for their fullest selves. Have you ever felt a moment when someone's mere existence made you want to live differently? These women do that. They challenge old stories that a woman's worth comes only from being with someone. They shatter molds that say happiness must come from outside. They're living proof we can find joy within ourselves without needing anyone's validation. Carl Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming yourself fully, without masks, without compromise. These women are the embodiment of that process. They don't just live to exist. They live to grow, and in doing so, they become a mirror, reflecting a truth many secretly envy. They show us emotional freedom isn't a dream. It's a choice anyone can make. Think about the last time you felt pressure to fit a mold, to love, to marry, to have someone, to prove you're okay. These women have risen above that pressure. They don't need someone to tell them they're worthy. They know it deep in their soul, and that certainty is a revolution. Not loud, not flashy, but powerful enough to move even those who've never met them. They're not here to confront or shame anyone. They're just existing with authenticity, and that authenticity sparks a flame. For those awakening, they remind us we can rebuild without rushing. We can love without fear. We can be ourselves without asking permission. Stay with me, because we'll wrap up with an invitation for you to join this quiet revolution. This isn't a story about living alone. It's a story about living with the freedom you've always deserved. So we've journeyed together, explored the path of women who live alone. They're not lonely. They embody courage, freedom, and true love, starting with themselves. Have you ever felt a small spark stirring deep inside while hearing this story? Maybe it's a reminder that you too can choose a path to the fullest version of yourself. Picture a moment you stand before a mirror and see not just your face, but your soul. These women have done that. They teach us being alone isn't punishment. It's a vow of loyalty to yourself. And when you love yourself enough to not need someone to fill you, love, when it comes, won't be salvation. It'll be a vibrant, joyful celebration. I want you to pause just for a second and ask yourself, what's waiting for you on the other side of fear? Maybe it's the love you've always deserved. If this story touched you, share it with the women who need to remember they're stronger than what society says. Hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to keep exploring journeys of awakening and freedom. Remember, my friend, living alone isn't lack. It's a choice to become yourself. And when you do that, the world will never be the same. Thank you for being here. Let this flame keep burning inside you.